See, I've been toying around with an idea this week. Stutter, stammer. It's the company. Got me nervous. I'm in the company of rock royalty here in KC. I fucking loved 9-volt junkie, dude.
Yeah, that was
no gas, dude. It was like, or no cap, dude.
That's
the cool kids say.
That was a fun band.
That was a lot of fun. I really loved the what's the Irish flag skull idea. That was pretty cool on the colors.
Yeah, we when we did the little EP thing and we put the skull on there, it was actually Marty who came over and he goes, "Guys, no more skulls." It's like, I'm tired of seeing skulls on everything. I was like, okay.
Well, there goes the band.
Yeah, I was like, at least we got that one out.
Somebody got LSD. That's lead singer's disease. It's an ego thing. Never heard of Pantera? All right, so this week we are trying out Smoke Wagon. Who are we? Savor the Burn. Who is this? Phil. We're going to learn a lot about him. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Savor the Burn. My name is Jonathan. Over here is Mr. W2. How do you do?
Doing good.
Yeah, who do we have here with us?
We have our good longtime buddy, Phil.
I'm Phil.
We can call him Phil Mitchum. You can call him Phil-Mageddon. You can call him anything you want. Just
Filomeno?
don't call him late for dinner. Filomeno, I like that one. Phil was a musician here in Kansas City. Well, sure still is a musician if he wants to be.
Squirrel Fire.
I am currently playing in Reset to Zero now.
Reset to Zero, okay.
Very nice.
And
I did not know that.
yeah, and now I'm and I brew a lot of beer.
Cool.
I've been brewing, so getting up on to 17 years now.
17 years. Yeah, I knew that you were doing homebrew stuff in your kitchen, and Matthew Blackman, I think he was also doing some homebrew stuff in his kitchen. I think you guys are friends.
Yeah. So I started on 5-gallon system. I'd worked my way up to a 10-gallon system. Matt was wanting to learn how to brew beer. I said, "Come on over. I can always use a dishwasher." And he wanted to learn. And 80 to 90% of brew day is cleaning. So the brewing itself is watching water get hot and science happen. The rest of the time you're cleaning everything up. So invited him over. We worked some brews out, and he was having a good time. We did a couple of tasting parties. There was one we had to brew up like 50 gallons. I had to retrofit a bar for Sankey or corny kegs. Got great feedback from people like Boulevard and the other local breweries and stuff like that. We were hoping to get a loan to open an actual brewery.
Wow.
And that kind of all fell through. And then COVID hit. So
now's the time, man.
COVID.
So I just decided to sell a house and then build a 20-gallon brewery in my basement, and I just keep it there now. I got 4 taps coming out of the wall, so
maybe there can be a local bar or something that can have a tap for you.
Yeah, there's a new Kansas law just came around that would allow to sell to restaurants individually without having to go through a wholesaler.
Okay.
Whether or not I can do that on the home scale, I don't think so. I would need a separate facility because it has to health inspections, food, FDA approvals, licenses.
How many square foot of a place would you need?
If you wanted to do a 7-barrel system, you could probably get away with easy like 5,000 square feet.
Wow. Huh.
Easy. And that would include holding your bright tanks. You could probably run maybe 6 batches at a time. As far as you cook one batch, goes into a tank, cook one batch, go into another. So about 6 fermenters and then like 2 or 3 bright tanks. So you could put a brewery in a very compact place. And especially if you were to get like a cheap warehouse, it would be uncomfortable. But if all you're trying to do is sell to like the local restaurants and stuff.
Well, you look at Limitless. Limitless, when they first opened, which I don't know what year they opened, but they opened in warehouse space. I mean, literally to get there, you had to drive around all these warehouses and park kind of in the back.
Like an industrial complex.
Very industrial, yeah. But it was cheap space, put in the tanks, little tap room in front, and they exploded. And a handful of years later, They built a spot right up there off of 95th and
I didn't know
Lackman.
about that. Okay.
It is an amazing space.
Nice.
Yeah, but they moved over there and their own facility, bigger space, great street presence. So, yeah, not hiding in the warehouse. Call sign up in North Kansas City.
Yep.
Another one where you have to go down the back alley to the industrial warehouse type spaces in order to find them.
I think if I were going to do a brewery, I'd want to kind of pull off what Tall Trellis did. They basically bought out a car wash gas station thing, and they just converted the wet area, the wet hang area, whatever you call that spot. And that's where they put all their brewing. So when at the end of the day, when they need to clean everything up, just blast everything down.
Wow.
And, drain's already there. You don't need to do the French drain or anything like that.
Yep.
And they got a really cool setup too, because it's really the outdoor area where they've got hop rhizomes, hop vines going up, tall trellis. But they got a cool space. I think if I were going to do a brewery, I'd kind of model it off how they got that set up. If I could find a abandoned garage that has a wash bay.
They are there. If you're listening to this and you know of a place, or you own a place like this and might want to partner up with a guy like this that knows what the hell he's doing and puts out good product, hit us up, info@savortheburn.com. Send an email and we'll get you in contact with Phil-Mageddon or what was it? Philamander?
Philander.
Jesus. Anyway, so tonight, that's beer. As you can tell, they love their beer. They know what they're talking about. I really don't. I drink half of most beers. I drink half of a beer and I get a blinding headache within like 30 minutes. It sucks. It's a curse because I do love beer. Unfortunately, I just can't drink it. That's why I stick to whiskey, hence the podcast. So tonight we're going over Smoke Wagon. We have a couple different offerings. We got this one here, Smoke Wagon Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's just in a Halloween themed bottle. W2, you picked up this how long ago?
I picked it up over Thanksgiving this last year.
Thanksgiving when you were in
St. Louis.
In St. Louis. And this one here is the uncut, unfiltered, pretty much full flavored version of this. So you got tavern strength, and you got, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger strength. And then over there in that one, which we'll get to in the next video, is a single barrel. Store pick from Bubbles. But we'll talk about that one later.
Yeah.
So right now, what can you tell us about this Las Vegas whiskey?
I'll talk, you pour. How about that?
Girl.
Yeah, Smoke Wagon they're located in Las Vegas. They are an MGP distillery. Are they considered a distillery if they're
not
MGP?
If they're sourcing it. No, MGP.
They bottle and age it. So
it's
actually if you look at
right
the back,
here on the, is it on the back?
Somewhere on there, it's going to say bottled and aged
and bottled by Nevada H&C Distilling Company, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Nevada Distilling Company, NDC. But yeah, so this first one is their straight bourbon whiskey. This is a small batch offering. It is straight bourbon whiskey. It comes in at 92.5 proof. There is no age statement. And a little bit of the information I pulled off of this one says, get into the spooky spirit with Smoke Wagon Bourbon's limited edition Halloween release.
Spooky.
And I don't know how long they've been doing it, but the last couple years at least, they have been releasing a Halloween special edition. So they put that out, I think, mid-September. And when they're gone, they're gone. But I still see it on the shelves from here and there, so you never know. So anyway, the goal was to create an affordable, everyday bourbon that had the unique and unmistakable Smoke Wagon flavor, consisting of delicate sweet notes with a rye spice finish. Barrels with our same high rye mash bill were racked on the top 2 floors of the warehouse and never rotated. The higher the floor, the hotter it gets. In Vegas,
Vegas, it gets hot quick.
It gets really hot. Hotter it gets in the summer, causing more expansion and more movement into the wood. This, as well being non-chill filtered, creates a bourbon that is rich and creamy beyond its years. Never rotating the barrels ensures there are no harsh tannins flavors, and the high rye mash bill adds a delightful, spicy, and nutty finish.
Yeah.
Indulge in the Hauntingly Delicious Smoke Wagon Bourbon Halloween Edition, and add a spooky kick to your sipping experience.
I like a spooky kick as much as the next guy.
So these are like the synthetic cork.
Yes.
Yeah, composite. Okay.
Yeah, and I believe they're composite on both. Now, I'm going to put this over here.
Okay.
So remember, the glass on your left is your right. Our left is the uncut, unfiltered. And it's really not too difficult to see the difference between the two.
I was going to say they're
One is darker
Yep.
for sure. And I would put
Not a whole lot.
not a whole lot actually when I hold it up.
I would put fingerprints all over my glass. I like to hold it up and look at the legs. You guys with your beer,
Yep, we call it legs lacing.
lacing.
Yeah, lacing is where you kind of get that foam ring as you take a sip.
Okay.
The legs is the travel. So this, I can already tell it's sticking. It's
Thick.
yeah.
Thick. But this one's some fishnets.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
A little bit of caramel.
Yeah, it smells like a bourbon right off the bat.
Yeah, that's definitely bourbon.
So we'll put this
For 92.5 proof,
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that alcohol.
there's a strong ethanol. Not burn, but
It pinches the nose.
Yep.
For whatever reason, it always makes me think of like fresh Band-Aids.
Dude, Scotch hits me that way.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
it does. It's got a Band-Aidy smell.
That briny
Yeah.
sea salt.
This one here, maybe not so much brininess, but there's a fruit, like a dried fruit in here. Like maybe dried plum. Is that what are the?
I'd say plum.
You haven't said anything about the tasting
I have
notes,
not
right?
yet.
Good. Let's hold off on that. Are you picking up cereal notes?
A little
Grains.
bit.
I'm picking up the grains.
A lot of caramel, maybe a vanilla custardy,
Yeah. So I'm thinking there's definitely corn.
light baking spice maybe.
Yep.
And yeah, I think
90,
there's
92
plum.
and a half proof. Man, that's a great proof for their. I mean, it's not tavern strength, but for like their basic offering. Mm-hmm. And like we said, this is just their basic offering, just in a fancy wrapper.
Yeah, it's like a $26-$28 bottle, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you can't go wrong with that, especially off the nose. We've picked up like 4 or 5 things so far.
And it glows in the dark.
And right,
Wait.
they will glow in the dark.
Which automatically makes it cooler.
Yeah, I'll hold it up over here to the light off screen. See if we can get it to kind of look like it wants to glow in the dark. That didn't work.
Edit and overlay.
That didn't work.
glow in the
All my work for nothing. Well, I like it on the nose. What do you say we get it on the palate?
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm-hmm.
That's very sweet with a good amount of heat.
It's almost a dessert whiskey.
Yeah,
It's an after.
That's
breakfast.
very sweet.
It's an after breakfast whiskey.
Yeah.
And the heat is it's a rye spice.
It's a rye spice. Yeah, right. So we talk about this from time to time. We talk about like the rye heat versus the proof heat, or like the rot gut fucking heat. Like if it wants to, if the burn that you don't really want to savor forces you to like deal with it, and it goes all the way down your gullet and into your stomach, and you're like, whew, I think I'll have another. We don't really particularly care for that. We do like a little bit of a heat bite on the tongue. That just tells us that the rye is in there, and it's letting you know, hey guys, I'm in the party.
And I'll also say that after that first sip, where you get that spice right away, that second sip, the sweetness starts to set in, and now it just smooths out. Like
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're gonna have to take a deep breath. Yeah.
Numb the taste buds. And,
Right.
And then
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely sweetens up as you're sipping on it.
If you're the kind of person that just doesn't really care about whiskey, the taste of it, you just want to do shots, get it over with. I just want to get drunk, white girl wasted. Like, yeah, the show is probably not for you, but that's fine.
does it have a little bit of a licorice
I got that too.
on the palate?
Yeah. It's like stale licorice that's just been sitting out of the bag for a while. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that like it sounds bad, but I'm just saying that's like you can kind of get that licorice. It's kind of like it's just been sitting out a little bit.
The non-Twizzler brand.
The non-Twizzler grass. Yeah, the gas station rope.
Pick it up at the local Flying J. Next to the bathroom section. Sorry. These floors are sticky.
Oh, man.
It's not from the Twizzler. You got some guy back here shaking his Twizzler. Family show.
We haven't made that lot lizard cocktail yet.
Ooh.
Warm tuna juice.
That's not gonna happen, dude. No way. No way. Did we share that at any given point? I know we talked about it.
We need to share that. Now, Katie found it. She sent it to me. It was, this
It's a sugar.
Little shot, like one of the tall shot glasses.
Yeah, it's like you build a cocktail in a shot glass.
It's this like room temperature, warm pink salmon color with a little bit of a froth on top of it.
And the froth is from the tuna.
And it's called the lot lizard.
It's from like tuna juice, like right out of the can. You just, it's like, and it's.
No, pass. I'll pass.
The Flying
Hard pass.
J.
Well, before that gets gone, let's hop over here to the uncut, unfiltered, because we are doing a side by side. This is a compare, and not in a.
And this is where it is fair to compare because we are doing the same product, just their proof down standard entry offering and their uncut, unfiltered offering.
This is where immediately it's a darker, like it's like a where you would say maybe like I'm getting almost like a plum fig, dark red.
Fig. Yep. Everything also on this one seems to be a lot more rounded off. There's that harsh,
the harsh
ethanol.
fusel or
it's
ethanol,
not there.
Look at how spotty, like the legs and shit got on the original.
Yeah.
After sipping on it,
it's a sticky boy.
Huh?
Well, this one's doing it too.
Yeah. We got some drips on them legs. Like $2 whore on nickel night. I said that. Sorry. Family show.
And this is the uncut, unfiltered bourbon. Still no age statement, but it comes in at 115.36 proof. It is still a straight bourbon whiskey, and it says a deep cask strength bourbon delivered in old school style with a rich and vicious mouthfeel. One night in 2004, after a long day of work, Jonathan Hensley stumbled into an Eagle Rock, California bar owned by Aaron Chepanik. The two men struck up a friendship over a love of spirits and decided to open a bar together. The Griffin, located on the famous Fremont Street in Old Town, Las Vegas. They soon saw an opportunity to craft their own signature spirit made the right way. They launched Nevada H&C Distilling Company, where they make Silver Dollar vodka and Smoke Wagon bourbons. Early on, Aaron and Jonathan have created their small batch bourbon by combining a younger version of their high rye bourbon with an older version of the spirit. This preserved the rye spice while developing the sweetness and thickness of the corn spirit over more time. The best of both worlds.
So, like, you do the side by side. Now that we've had on the nose, anyway. Now that we've had a taste of the original, the unfiltered uncut smells like banana bread to me. Like,
have we tasted this one yet?
No.
Okay.
No, we were talking about what we got on the nose. Like you guys got fig, and like maybe plum. Somebody say plum?
Yeah, well, I was thinking plum fig, more fig.
Plum fig, more fig.
I'm getting honey too.
That's honey.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure what sweet we got off of this one. We said caramel. Could have been caramel. Definitely wasn't toffee.
Like a toasted nut.
Yeah, toasted nut. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the other one, the small batch, the nose notes that I have say honey, toasted nuts, and with some oak and heat. The palate is creamy mouthfeel with the initial rich sweet notes of honey and caramel on the tip of the tongue, followed by nuts, oak, and pepper spice that starts on the sides of your tongue. The nuttiness and oak fade as pepper spice from the rye take over the entirety of your palate.
There was a gnat. I seen it.
This one, the nose, the uncut, unfiltered.
Yeah, what do you got for?
On the
Notes
nose,
on
it says
the
the aroma is powerful and balanced with apples and apricots over a river
Apricot.
of baking spice and caramel.
Yeah, apricot. It's fruit.
Apricot, fig.
Yep.
Yeah, fig's not a stone fruit, right? There's no stone in a fig.
I don't
Some of them have a wasp in
believe
it
so.
because that's what it takes to pollinate the flower. But whatever.
Shall we do it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it on
Cheers.
get it on the mouth.
It's a lot
That's
smoother.
115 proof.
That's a lot. It's a lot smoother. I think it's actually smoother.
It's smoother
than
than the original.
I mean,
man.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that finish. It just coats the tongue.
That's a great finish.
and
that's
This is a mouthfeel.
yeah.
yeah, mouth feels. Yeah, this coats the tongue in bliss, not Alexa Bliss from WWE.
And it's not like overly cloyingly sweet or anything. It's more
Right.
like a thinned out honey.
Yep. Yep.
I love honey.
We need to figure out how to get you to make some more of that honey mead.
I love honey.
Oh, the peach melomel. So I already have it cooking. Peach melomel is basically a honey wine. It's a mead, but you add fruit to it, which then it becomes a melomel.
Is that what you used that the aged honey that you had?
Yes, this one was aged even longer. And I know it
very
sounds
nice.
weird to age honey. It's like it just evaporates or
Not to
whatever.
us.
But when it
Preaching
sits,
to the choir.
there's just something to the flavor of the honey as it sits over a long period of time. The flavor does change. Depending on how long you let it go, it can change a lot. So the peach melomel that I've got running now, I've already pulled a couple samples on it, and it's probably better than the last time I made it.
Nice.
And the alcohol is sitting right now around 17-ish%.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like peach syrup.
So not that long ago, my sister sent me a package, and it had 4 3-ounce bottles in there. Total blind. The only thing she told us was
That was a lot of fun.
these are honey finished,
Okay.
honey finished whiskeys.
Okay.
All she told me, and we actually had them on, did a video episode with them, but yeah, I guess apparently in Kentucky and in that area there are a lot of distilleries that partner with their local honey farms, and they pass their
beers.
barrels back and forth.
Yeah.
Those are bee farmers.
Apiaries.
Yeah. So one of them that we tried, which was the shortbread or short barrel, the honey farm that's literally next door neighbors to them gives them the unwashed empty honey barrels that let's back up. The honey farm gets their empty bourbon barrels from Short Barrel.
Okay.
They then fill it with their honey.
Okay.
And then when they empty it, they give the unwashed honey barrels back to the distillery, and they put the juice back inside.
Nice.
So
Okay.
we had this amazing single barrel bourbon that had been finished in their bourbon barrel, honey aged barrel.
That is a process right there. Yeah.
It was amazing. It was
That
so
would be-
fantastic.
that would be nice
So
to try.
fantastic.
Are these the same? Is this the same note that you had in your tasting notes here on the back of the bottle up here at the label?
That I'm not 100% sure.
It says here, barrels are first hand selected from the top 2 floors of the warehouse to create a bourbon that has flavor, which is smooth and rich beyond its years. They are then expertly blended, creating a delicate balance of rye spice, sweet notes of corn with toasted oak and caramel. That sounds like everything that you already read.
Definitely corn.
Toasted oak. I picked up on the
It was slightly different, but
slightly different.
it had some of the same info, but it was
Yeah, I remember you were talking about floors of the warehouse. Yeah, Vegas. Vegas. If you've ever been to Vegas, you know it can get really hot. It can get really cold. It can be.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. Yeah, it's 112 less. Like it's
hot.
yeah, it's hot. It's not swamp ass hot. Like, you know, a 90-degree day here in Kansas City or a 60-degree day down in Georgia. But, you know, heat's heat.
I'm just gonna call it. That's out of both of these, that's definitely taking the crown for me. Like if somebody gave me a sample of these two and said, which would you like? And they were like, that's going to be $5 more, I'd go for it. For a drink.
Yeah, for a pour.
Yeah, for a pour or whatever.
It says Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered Bourbon is that same multi-gold medal winning bourbon. Only this time it's been strained through wood chips and delivered at a cask strength between 57 and 58.
Yeah.
What would give you the aromas? I was mapping.
Or sorry, the roundness of it, filtering it through the wood chips softens the astringencies.
So it has been filtered.
It's not. They're not calling it filter, but they're saying it's strained through wood chips. So they put wood chips down in the pan.
Yeah.
As they dump
that, like the charcoal wood chip.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of makes sense to me. I mean, it pulls out whatever actual sediments could be in there and whatever.
Yeah. Well, and like it's kind of the same theory behind why Budweiser puts their beer on beechwood.
Beechwood.
Beechwood?
It helps. Not only do they blend the beer, but then to take out any of the harsh flavors, the beechwood is actually acting as it pulls astringent and tannin and stuff like that out of the beverage. So makes sense because that's clearly rounder than
the uncut unfinished. The finish says the finish is long, warm, and smooth with a chili pop.
Possible. I really like it.
Chili pop
with a chili pop. I'm not really sure what that means.
A chili pop.
Chili pop.
I didn't even really taste chilies.
The small batch, the Halloween edition, the finish says finishes with a creamy sweetness that coats, followed by once again by oak and pepper spice that lingers.
Don't get these dudes mixed up.
Yeah.
Because there's a your empty glass will have a different. It's like a second nose.
I don't remember when we started picking up on that,
but it was accidental. One of us just picked it up and smelled it.
We're trying to wrap an episode and just happened to pick up the empty glass and we're like, not a 180 different nose, but completely different notes presented itself in the empty glass. Crazy. So now, ever since then, we try to make a point to get a second nose.
A second nose off the empty glass. Interesting. Do you remember how long you had to wait before it smelled different on the empty glass?
Just a few minutes after it was empty, just enough for it to get a little bit of
blowing it to try to make sure it's dry.
I've never heard of doing that.
We hadn't either. Wow, that's okay.
Happy accidents.
Yep.
Speaking of happy accidents, I had brewed a dark cherry stout for a buddy's wedding of mine.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it in the corner of a basement for 2.5 years. So the airlock had dried out. It was in a plastic jug of fermenter, plastic carboy, and just totally forgot about it. My wife comes to visit me, and she's like, "What's in that?" And I was like, "Oh, we're probably going to have to dump that because it's been sitting there 2.5 years in a plastic jug with no airlock to protect it. Like we're literally relying on the principles of CO2 being like still covering it." So we pull it out and we pour it, we taste it, and it has some tart, tangy funk going on. So anyway, we ended up kegging it, carbonating it, and then bottling it because we were getting ready to move. And there are some bottles out of that batch that taste incredible now that they've sat for even more time.
Some.
There was some where I overfilled them just a little too much, and then there was some where I was like at the end of the keg, so they didn't get full enough, which I drank as quickly as possible. But there are some where if you notice about a 1-inch gap from the cap to the liquid line, almost can bet on it being the most beautiful cherry tart beer ever.
So we haven't broken into this one yet. This is going to give our good friends down at West Bottom Whiskey Company a plug. This is their latest.
Right here in the middle of Smoke Wagon.
Right in the middle of Smoke Wagon. This is their latest offering. It is called Wait For Me. It is a Tannet cask finished rye whiskey. This is one, and I'm I need to follow up on the details of it. But this is one that they did as kind of an experiment.
Yeah.
Put like a single barrel because they basically decided to bottle in the 375.
I don't remember how many gallons that barrel was, but yeah, it was
I think it was a full. I think it was a full barrel, but it's just the one barrel. But it got completely forgotten about for a couple years.
Yeah. What's it? A couple years?
I think so. I think it was year and a half, 2 years, somewhere in there.
They totally forgot about it.
And then just one day cleaning up in the warehouse or whatever.
So I was like, oh shit.
They're like, what is that? Oh, that's that barrel. And so
happy accidents.
We are very excited to get into that. But speaking of the cherry color, look at that.
Mm-hmm. I like how they called it "Wait for Me" because we called ours "After Dark."
After dark.
Yeah, because it had just been sitting in the dark, and everything's better after dark. That kind of thing.
And nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
I can't remember. I wrote up a blurb about it because I handed some out for gifts, and it came with a little blurb of a kind of a fictional story about being abandoned in a dark corner of a basement for years on end and coming to light and all this other. Anyways, every time you come across one of your good batches of beer, you get a little sentimental and start.
Yeah, Phil-Mageddon Spirits does that. They have a thing that they make up like this whole storyline thing with it, and it's great for presentation. It's great for storytelling.
And according to their website, before they start working on the actual batch, they sit down and they start working on a story.
They write the story. They storyboard it.
And a storyboard and main characters and all that. And then they distill that down into, this is going to be this is the flavor profile we want. Here's our ingredients. And then they go from there. And so, apparently everything they do starts with a movie script and storyboard, and then they turn it into
that's pretty cool.
A batch.
So earlier today, I posted these three bottles in 3 groups: Whiskey Tribe, what was it?
1 through 5.
The Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Club, and the Whiskey Guild, the Kansas City Whiskey Guild. I dropped the same post in all 3.
Yeah.
And on the Whiskey Tribe, make sure I get all comments. We had some great feedback from these folks. Garrett said, actually, I'll read what I posted. We got any Smoke Wagon fans here? Stupid whiskey. Trying these 3 out tonight, and I'm wondering if y'all have any thoughts on these bottles. Halloween 2023 edition, unfiltered, uncut, private barrel from Bubbles, wine and spirit. Like I said, we'll get to the bubbles here in the next episode. Stay tuned, motherfuckers. Anyway, so Garrett says, need to try the uncut, unfiltered. Thanks, Garrett. Daryl says, I bought that middle bottle, which is the uncut, unfiltered, a few years ago and really liked it. I haven't tried any other Smoke Wagons. I'm surprised. Daryl, you need the 4th. He had that name. He's the 4th to be named that name. I haven't tried any other Smoke Wagons. Hop on it. It may be MGP, but so far we have all really enjoyed it.
And MGP is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just sourced.
It's just sourced
juice or whatever, and like you do it. It's like mail order brides. Like I want a Russian. I want her so tall. I want so much.
I mean, honestly though,
moose and squirtle.
With how specific the climate is of Vegas.
Yeah.
Them getting their juice from Indiana, if it's being aged and then bottled there in Vegas.
Yeah. It's going to be different than it would be here in Kansas City.
From anywhere else.
It's a hotter and sometimes colder, way drier climate. I mean, you got the Cascades in the background. I would love to wake up and see the Cascades every morning. Like, you guys have been to Vegas. Like, the desert has its charm and beauty, and
what's funny about this, and
I loved it out there.
Yeah, what's funny about the MGP is people are saying, "Oh, it's MGP, it's going to be bad." In the beer community, there's the same type of argument for brewers who use extract versus mashing their own grains out.
Okay,
you can make a perfectly good gold medal winning beer out of nothing but extract, but there's this weird stigma that because it's already prepared and you're just mixing it with water, it's not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, my gold
The
medal
all
peach wheat-
grain beer.
Yeah, my gold medal peach wheat was an extract beer, and when people found that out, they were like, "Oh, I didn't realize you could do that." I'm like, "Yeah, you just
You'd be
balance-
surprised what you
balance-
can do when you pull
balance
your head
anything
out of
out."
your
So,
ass.
yeah, it's like but I know there, but there's always going to be purists.
Yep,
where it's like
absolutely.
if you're not mashing in house, then it's not legitimate, and for some reason.
Second nose on the OG, nothing but honey.
Yep.
So
So cereal grains almost every time presents itself
Yeah.
on the empty
Yeah,
glass.
it's like an old bowl of Cheerios.
Dan, getting back to the edge of the comments here, Dan says Halloween is the same as the regular small batch, just with a different label. Thanks, Dan. The uncut, unfiltered is okay. Just a down the middle bourbon. So it's not negative. It's just like it's okay. I don't agree. I think it's better than average for sure. Eric says one of my favorites. Can't beat the price to quality ratio. Good stuff. I don't know which one you're talking about, sir. Let's see here.
Quality to price ratio is probably that bottle.
Could be.
I mean, the reason why it took me so long to finally buy this bottle is it's a $76 bottle.
Yeah.
And not knowing anything, not trying any of the smoke wagons, I was just like, I bought this one and been sitting on the shelf, but we hadn't opened it yet. So I'm
We
like,
needed another version of it.
no idea, but we wanted to put it up against something a little bit higher proof. And so finally pulled the trigger and glad it did.
Absolutely.
It's a great bottle.
Felipe says have the uncut Felipe? Have the uncut, the younger, and love it.
There, yeah. So this is the uncut, unfiltered. There's another version. There's no age statement on this, so I don't, and I didn't see anything that alluded to what it's said to be roughly. But there is another version in between these two bottles that is called the I think it's the uncut younger
Wow. Okay.
bourbon. So it's supposed to be aged less, but still uncut, unfiltered.
That's cool. That's cool. Timothy said, I almost read it Timothy. You know, if you ever, yeah, Timothy, insubordinate, churlish. I really enjoy Smoke Wagon, uncut, unfiltered. If I'm ready to feel it, small batch usually is a great daily for me. Greg says I bought about 8 of the Halloween bottles. One of my favorites. I thought that was cool. Mac says everything they do is great. Been working through their rye bottles lately. We haven't tried the rye yet.
I do want to get into the rye.
After trying these, I definitely want to hop into the rye and see what's
The
up.
rye bottle looks just like this,
But green,
with this medallion is green.
which makes sense. Pay attention, Ghostwood. What are you guys thinking? Whatever. They want to buck the trend. Keep an eye out for Ghostwood Distilleries. They're going to release a rye soon after.
Yep. Well,
after-
they're Chardonnay cask.
The Chardonnay cask is right now. Definitely check that out. We're going to get a bottle of that and do a review on it.
Very, very
as
excited
soon
to
as
get
we
that
get
bottle.
it. But they're going to release a rye here pretty soon, and we're pretty stoked to try that one too.
I'm a fan of the ryes.
Yes. Eric says loved the unfiltered uncut, barrel proof for reasonable money.
Yep.
Probably means he also loves the barrel proof if it's reasonably priced. Jimmy says uncut unfiltered is pretty good. I'm liking their new Desert Colt. I think it's replacing Uncut the Younger. Okay, so
Yes.
Uncut the Younger is probably
Yes.
his favorite. No, you're reading this different.
Well, no. The uncut younger is they're now calling it the Desert Colt. Which,
Okay, so it'll be a different name.
Yeah, well, so like I was talking about, this bottle with the green medallion here is the rye.
Mm-hmm.
The Desert Colt is this bottle with a light blue medallion.
That's interesting.
This all just means I spend a lot of time walking up and down the
Right.
whiskey
And asking
aisles
questions
and asking questions,
and getting information from
developing
knowledgeable
those
people.
relationships.
Absolutely. The whiskey business is a relationship business, and I'm sure the beer business is a relationship business too. I also posted the same thing over in the Whiskey Guild. Eric says, can't speak for the private barrel. Not many can. But I haven't had a smoke wagon yet that I don't like. My personal choice for cost savings is Uncut the Younger, now labeled as Desert Colt. If the extra bucks is no concern, then I definitely get the Uncut Unfiltered Slanche. meaning cheers in what is that, Gaelic?
Gaelic, yep.
Charlie says, haven't had the PB.
Private barrel.
Private barrel. Anyway. Acronyms fuck me up. I'm like, can we just say what it is, please?
As bad as IT departments.
Because I'll stare at it for a minute and be like, PB peanut butter? What? Anyway, I haven't had the peanut butter, but the standard smoke. I'm like, no, that doesn't work. I haven't had the private barrel, but the standard Smoke Wagon is a good bottle, especially for the price. I enjoy the uncut, unfiltered, but they can vary batch to batch, but haven't had a bad one. So that's good news, I suppose. Sayana, hopefully I didn't mess up your name. I tried it recently and enjoyed it. There's 3 bottles there. Thanks. Uncut, unfiltered, fuck the world. Thank you, Adam. Jonathan, not me, spelled differently. I've heard these earlier release Smoke Wagon private barrels, 10 to 13 year old, are excellent and the best of Smoke Wagon. I'm curious how these younger ones are. Do we have an age statement on that one?
We do, 7.
7 year? Okay.
Yep.
Well, we'll get back to that one a little bit later. So that was Whiskey Tribe, that was Kansas City Whiskey Guild, and also, like I said earlier, the same post was made in the Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Club. Jim says, I've had both the uncut, unfiltered, and the Bubbles Wine and Spirit store pick. Both are absolutely delicious. So great. We've got good words on the one we haven't tried yet. Brian says the Halloween, which I understood to be their straight bourbon, is solid for the price. I've heard great things about the uncut, unfiltered. All that being said, I think you're in a very non-disappointing, or I think you're in for a very non-disappointing evening. I like that, Brian. I like the way you worded that, even if I fucking tooled it. John says the Bubbles pick is my favorite pours right now. Thanks, we'll get to that. I shouldn't have read that probably. Adam, I'll be damned. Adam is in the same. Adam commented on pretty much the same post, but in a different group. Uncut, unfiltered.
There you go.
Fuck the world. Thank you, Adam. And Sean says Uncut the Younger is also very good. So he didn't comment on any of these 3, but he did say something about one of the ones that we haven't tried.
So it sounds like at a later time we need to come back to Smoke Wagon and do the Desert Colt and do the rye.
I would love to try the rye.
Yeah, I mean, these weren't bad.
They were not bad at all.
I mean, I would be okay with this or this. I'd like my preference if I had a choice between the two, even though you're jumping like what, $50 more for the bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, I would consider that a pleasant treat. You know, I would if I just happened to have the spare cash, I would jump on that every time.
Under 30, under 80.
Yeah. So I think there's like maybe 3 different versions of the kind of bottles that you want to get. You've got like your daily sipper. That's where I would put this. Yeah. And at 92.5, it's great for cocktails. This one over here would be like your Friday sipper. Like your work week is done. You've gotten some shit done. Maybe it was a little rough waters throughout the week. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The week.
It's Monday.
Oh man.
Monday's coming. Monday is screaming at your face, but that's still 2 days away.
That would be my post steak cigar.
There you go. Yeah,
totally doing that.
And then there's a third one, which is like a special bottle. Like if you're having a get together, a party, and you want to treat your friends and family, whatever, to a nice bottle. That's where. What would you pick? There's a lot of different bottles that you could choose from.
So as of recent, I would probably pick the Woodford Reserve Master Collection Batch Proof.
Yeah, this one here turned out
1.2.
This one here turned out to be a fantastic bottle. It can be a little bit of a nightmare to find, but if you find it, whiskey's meant to be. You're supposed to drink it.
I recently got a chance to go into the Whiskey Barrel. It was a liquor store before, but they closed it, changed the name or whatever, new owners, whatever.
It happens.
But I finally went in there. That's where I got this one. Mm-hmm. And I've seen this bottle for, I think the best price I've ever seen it was $73, and I've seen it as much as 90 something.
Yeah.
I got it for $76.
Yeah.
But anyway, they had probably 3 cases of that Woodford Reserve Batch Proof there.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's a $145 bottle.
Do they have any store picks?
That was where I saw the Blue Note store pick.
Okay.
Yes. I want to go back in there and pick that up because it was $49 for a single barrel store pick, and the regular Blue Note, the juke joint, is incredible, and that's a $26 bottle. The store pick was $49.
Yeah. Anytime I hear the term juke joint, it takes me back to Star Trek. Next Generation, where Riker #2 is in a holodeck, and he walks in and he's got this place decked out, like an old jazz juke joint. And there's this chick, whatever, in a red dress, probably. I don't know. He walks up. What's a classy dame like you doing in a sleazy juke joint like this, or whatever? I'm like, you are a sleazeball, but I love you, dude.
That was Riker, though.
That was Riker, dude. Yeah, he was the Captain
Riker,
Kirk of Next Generation. Like he'd fucking nail anything. Good times. Yeah, I'm picking up cereal notes on the second nose on the uncut, unfiltered.
Yep.
But yeah, on this
one's
original
honey.
here, it's wild. There's just honey all fucking day on this one.
Maybe some Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, it reminds me of like just a bowl after you.
This one's grape nuts.
So now that the whiskey groups are out of the way, if you're not if you're a whiskey enthusiast like us and you're not in a whiskey group and you're in your local area and or in like Whiskey Tribe, like a worldwide type group on Facebook, what are you even doing with your life? Get on there, enjoy yourself, enjoy others, and see what they had to say about stuff. But W2, tell me, on the Smoke Wagon straight bourbon whiskey, 92.5 proof, the Halloween bottle. What did you get on the nose?
I gave it 4.
That's exactly what I gave it. We had 4 or 5 different things show up on the nose, and none of it was off-putting. Sometimes we get hit with a little bit of a funk.
It was a solid nose.
Solid nose.
Yeah, I think I scored lower just because that alcoholic zing on the nose.
Yeah, that proof hit you in the nose quick.
Yeah, and this one didn't. So that's why I was just kind of like, I don't know, but I'm a little more sensitive to the ethanol on the nose.
Not a problem.
What'd you give it?
I mean,
3.25.
Okay.
3.25. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. How about the what'd you give it on the palate?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, 3.5.
3.5. So you definitely liked the palate more than the nose, but not a whole lot more.
No, there's something to it that I kind of expected more from, and I just didn't get it. Like, I was expecting more of that honey. Now, so initially I actually wanted to score it lower, but then I was reminding myself of the second sip after it kind of gets your tongue coated.
Yeah,
that second sip, I was like, okay, 3.5. Like, I can go 3.5, but I was gonna initially go lower. Finish, it's good, it's clean, sweet. And then, the bottle, it's glow in the dark. So 4.5. I mean, that you can't, anytime you make something glow in the dark, it instantly makes it cooler for me. Like, I just can't, I want to go into a closet right now and look at it just because I think
and there's
it's glow in the dark and it's Halloween.
And it's not like it's just a sticker. They painted this onto the bottle.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it was just painted onto the bottle, I probably would have scored it lower. But just the fact that it's a Halloween themed glow in the dark bottle, it instantly made it cool to me. So I did the 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah. I have it on a confident source that there were little old ladies licking paintbrushes with iridium paint on here, delicately painting the skull and all the glow in the dark. Dip, paint, lick to get the bristles straight. Dip, paint, just like they used to do with the watch hands.
I was gonna say, what were the name of
those
ladies?
The future cancer patients.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
that shit was radioactive.
Radium gals or something.
Yeah,
iridium.
Radium? Was it radium or iridium?
I don't remember. That's why.
Whatever it was, rest in pieces, ladies. Goodness. So he jumped ahead on the bottle presentation.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. Fucking noob. Don't ever do that again.
You're fired. Just kidding.
But come to a beer competition. We'll see what's wet.
That's right. I'll be like, my head hurts. I can't do this, guys.
Give it on the palate.
Look it out here, dweeb. I gave it a 3.75.
Girl, same.
All right, so we're starting to even out. See, there for a while, Like, you always gave it a lower score, and I gave it a much higher score because I'm like, sunshine and happiness.
And then we flip-flopped.
And then we met quickly, and then we totally flip-flopped. So we'll see where we're at here with the rest of it. You gave it a 3.5. Yeah, I totally agree. Because like you said, when you got the second palate, the second taste, you started to understand it more.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, how can you say you know a whiskey until at least your second or third pull? I mean, the first one's gonna slap you. The second one's probably gonna, rub the handprint on your face, and the third one's gonna you're making out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
just to add to that, though, there's been some whiskeys that I've had where I don't get slapped. I mean, you take
That's
the
true.
sip, the burnt, it doesn't just go hello. It's like, oh yeah, that's good, and then it kind of warms through as you get through it. So that's kind of where I kind of sit on that.
it's like
Well, off air, we talked about the Weller Special Reserve.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
that
one
would
of
be
those.
one of them.
That's literally that would be a
That
good
is
example.
the original weeded
It's an easy
bourbon,
sip all
and
day.
That's a fun
it's
one.
super easy.
That's a fun one where you can get that one, and no, not everybody's had it, but it's great for a daily pour, and it's great for a party. It's just
Well,
feels
it's
fun to
awesome for
share.
cocktails too.
Awesome for cocktail. What's the proof on it?
I think it's
90. Yeah, 90 proof.
Yep.
Perfect for cocktails.
Buffalo Trace,
Yeah.
How about the finish?
3 3/4.
All right, kept it the same. So did I. I kept it at 3 3/4. How about you, Mr. Phil-Mageddon?
For the finish, I had it at 3.5, so I'm trailing
Okay.
just a little behind you guys.
That's all right. You had it locked in the same as the palate, just like we did. When 3.5 is better than average. Average would be 2.5 if you're going on a 0 to 5 rating. How about bottle presentation? You said it was 4.5.
4.5.
Anything with skulls and glow in the dark, iridium girls, you love it.
Oh man, glow in the dark's gonna get me every time. Don't care.
How about you, Mr. W2?
I gave it 4. 4 even.
4 even. All right. I gave it a 4.25. I mean,
All right.
yeah, it's not like your Jim Beam White Label. It's a whole thing.
It's like, what I miss?
So it's not like your basic, just bottle label, little bit of information, barcode,
Plastic screw off cap.
plastic screw-off cap.
Right.
I mean, here you got a composite cork. You've got it's got like the whole, it's covered, right? And you had to peel this off in order to even get to the
Safely
topper.
secured.
So we haven't seen what the topper looks like, but I don't know. Do we care? Over here, it looks like what is that? Maple, walnut?
There was cellophane on covering this, but yeah, that's that's some kind of a
darker
hard
wood. I'm not good at guessing my woods. We're gonna leave that alone. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's over here on the neck. It looks like this, and I'm like, please don't Photoshop that. But anyway, so you got plenty of stuff going on here, and I like it. It's way better than average, so that's why I gave it a better than average score at 4.25. Mr. Phil, what did your final score end up being?
7.375.
Is that 7 3/8?
3.
Okay, so
We actually.
that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
No, it's
How about you, Mr. W2?
7 3/4.
Sorry if you were listening. That was me. I can't stop. It's a thing. Would you say 7 3/4?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I gave it 7 7/8, 7.875. I liked
pretty
it.
tight. Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of wow for me in that bottle.
I
I have no complaints. I will be singing its praise from the mountaintops.
It's a solid bottle, and then you factor in it's an under $30 bottle.
Right. It's like a sore dick. You can't beat it. He grunted.
I
He
fucking groaned. Like it's like I heard it, and then it's like my brain caught up, and I was like,
Good times. Well, since this is a 2-bottle episode, guys, let's roll
Keep
on
on
over here
going.
to the Uncut Unfiltered. On the nose, I gave it a 4.25. It had so much more to offer than the original did, but it has to. It's just got so much going on there. How about you, W2?
Girl, same.
Really?
4
All
and a
right,
quarter.
all right. See, we're starting to sync up on our scores and probably get our periods at the same time too if we're not careful. How about you, Mr.
Yep,
Phil?
Same 4.
Same.
Yeah.
Boom.
Can't
Look at
can't
us.
beat it.
We're all synced up now.
It was a noticeable, like extreme noticeable difference
Definitely.
between just the nose.
You have a higher proof, but yet it was nice and rounded and
None of that
just
ethanol
soft.
zing on it. I liked it. I actually enjoyed smelling it a lot.
How about the palate, Mr. W2?
Kept it at 4 and a quarter.
Kept it at 4 and a quarter. All right. Well, I like the palate more, so I ended up giving it a 4.5 quarter point hike. How about you, Mr. Phil?
I had a 4.5. It's very smooth, very well rounded. I mean, I honestly could drink that whole bottle right now. It really impressed me. I wouldn't go so far to say it's the most perfect thing in the world, but it's way up there on the charts. So, in my opinion, if it's $78 a bottle, and I know that that's what I'm getting into, I will grab that bottle every time.
Yeah, and it's like that's the kind of bottle you're like, dude, you got to try this.
Yeah, that's literally like my friends come over. It's like, dude, try this.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have this.
And it looks great on the bar.
Oh yeah, no, it does. It really does.
I mean-
Like with the little puck and everything like that. I mean, it just looks nice and shiny and attractive.
I mean, even if you have no idea what Smoke Wagon is,
Right,
that's
you're gonna
that's
find
a bottle
out.
you're going to be like, what is that?
Yeah, yeah. It draws your eyes.
Oh, you don't know? You
It doesn't glow in the dark, but
Sit down. Let's.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It hit all three of us with a wow on the palate because it did not hit like a 115.36 proof
no, it's smooth.
whiskey. It's so wild, man. How about the finish? What'd you give it on the finish, Mr. Phil?
4.25.
4.25. So you're still stuck on the finish with the. Did you get the like the mouth coating, the tongue coat thing, the warmth Kentucky hug kind of thing, but the Vegas hug?
The Vegas hug, yeah. No, it's the thing about it is it's,
What hugs in Vegas?
yeah.
Right. What
It gave me
hugs in Vegas leaves you a hot freckle.
It gave me it did give me the finish where it draws me to another sip. So that's always a good sign. If it's drawing you to a second sip, you know it's drawing you in by interest alone, if not the taste. So I would give it a higher score just for that on any whiskey. If it can draw me in, I would always score up on that finish.
How about you, Mr. W2?
I kept it at 4 and a quarter.
Kept it at 4 1/4. So you just all right. So you were consistently when you say 4.0, is that your minimum required number for being wowed? For me, it is. I don't know if it is for you.
I think if I'm going to say I was wowed, it needs to be above 4.
Above 4, so at least 4 1/4.
At least 4 and a quarter.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was plenty wowed. So I gave it 4 3/4. That was a super exciting, pleasant surprise that I was not expecting from a 115 proof.
Yeah.
Smoke Wagon. I mean, people talk shit on MGP whiskeys. They can fuck right off because it's like, I don't care. Like,
No.
it's just, when your product, when you're what you're putting out there to market is this good of a quality. Like, really, the product itself speaks for itself.
And I hadn't really thought about it until I was just earlier reading the description on there, and it hit me. They're getting their distillate from MGP. They're shipping it out to Vegas, and then they're putting it in their barrels. They're putting it on the racks in Vegas. They're aging it on prem in Vegas. They talked about not rotating it so that the heat would just help permeate the wood and all this stuff. And it occurred to me that because of that, yeah, I mean someone else is distilling the liquid, but no one's going to have those conditions.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Buffalo Trace produces an amazing portfolio of brands. They're also in a sweet spot where they have the best of the summers, best/worst of the winters, and they get all those climate changes, which shapes that Kentucky bourbon. they got heat on everyone. They got summer heat on everyone.
They've got that too, because you know how desert nights can be. They can be pretty damn cold. I mean, you're not going to suffer frostbite, but I mean, the temperature swings are so mercurial. It'll catch you by
different
surprise.
Climate, location. You know, you're not gonna replicate their aged journey.
I kind of see MGP as somewhat of a shortcut. You know, it's not an easy way out, so to speak. But if you could distill your own mash, and if you did have the room for it, if you could, you absolutely would. But they just don't, and so they just order it the way that they would have made it themselves.
Yeah, and that's a really good point to bring up. Is there is no point in setting up a giant mash system, because in particular you're going to need steam jacketing that requires extra utilities, things like that, just to get the mash. And the mash is just the sugar water that you need to ferment, right?
Yep.
So now you've got this other process where you have to maintain your yeast and make sure that you're using the same
strain. Yeast can be a big problem.
Under pitching, over pitching. Now you've got all these other things. Now you need a yeast lab, because all you want to get to is the point where now you just wanted to distill the fermented mash and just get going.
Yep.
So I don't understand why people get upset about the MGP, because that already is being taken into account. It's a single-purposed facility to do that and get you exactly what you want and allow you to take care of all the extraneous nuances of finishing after distilling.
And looking at this, 2004. So okay, we're 2024. We're 20 years into it. They've had enough time that they could have brought that on. They probably decided, you know what? Why take on the extra cost?
As far as we know.
Yeah, I mean if their margins are good and everybody's happy.
They may have started, and we just don't know because they've got their juice in the barrels and it's aging.
Yeah, maybe. But
who knows? I mean, we don't work there. Maybe if you know anybody that works there, leave us a comment. Let us know. Where were we? Bottle presentation. What'd you give them on the bottle presentation?
So on that one, as much as I love the kick-ass glow-in-the-dark Halloween labeling, I gave that one a 4. I gave this one a 4.5, just because it's a unique bottle. You have
definitely is.
You have all the three-dimensional textured, and then the inlaid medallion.
Yep.
The cross guns.
Right. I mean, if it's not skulls, you got to have guns. This one's got both.
This one's got guns and skulls.
Yeah, but that's just printed. That one there's like wax embossed and got vines climbing up the side. I mean, it's Old West. It's rock and roll. I love it. So that's why I also gave it a 4.5. How about you, Mr. Phil?
I gave it a 4.25.
All right.
I agree with everything you guys said, but there's a sticker.
Uh-oh.
It's not printed on
not printed on the bottle. And it's like,
that's
okay,
fair.
But that's cool. You've got enough cool stuff going on here. I mean, I'm not giving it a weak score by any shot.
Right.
It was just kind of like, we were doing so good up front. Like, everything looks nice and textured. And then you get to the back and it's like, crap. they just slapped a sticker on it, which this I understand why they would do. But it's just this whole disclosure thing where they clearly they didn't have a problem on a $24 bottle, doing that printing, with paint and stuff. But
is that printed? It's not a sticker.
That's printed.
That is printed. Wow.
That's I don't know, silk screen. Is it silk screen?
Probably silk screen.
Yeah, it is silk screen.
But so it just kind of amused me a little bit. Or what's the other opposite? Anyways, it just turned into a paper sticker on the back. So, that's why I went with the 4.25. Still a good score.
That works.
Still pretty bottle.
Really good score. So that brought your final score to
8.625. What would that be?
8 5/8 is not bad at all. Not bad at all. W2, how about you?
That's what my total came to.
Really, 8 5/8.
625. Yep.
Mine was 8 7/8. 8.875. So we're all in the same ballpark on this one. We were on the same ballpark on that one too. So,
quarter point difference.
Yeah, quarter points across the board, and really, I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of them. So if you're a fan of decent whiskey and or good whiskey, and you haven't tried Smoke Wagon, You're gonna enjoy it. I think you're gonna like it. If you've watched this podcast for any length of time, you know I can be a little bit of sunshine and rainbows, and W2's over here like, no, cut that shit out.
I will say
keep it right here on planet Earth.
I will say though that I'll be actually looking for this in the stores now. Now that I've tried it, I've never tried this before. This is literally the first time I've ever had Smoke Wagon.
Awesome.
So
yeah, and these are solid review scores. I mean, this is really good. I really like how. But you've had so much experience with beer and tastings also. But you're no stranger to whiskey.
No. And I actually was. I had gone through the entire BJCP program, so beer judge certification. I got to the final test of that, and I didn't like the master judge that I was tabled with because as you're going through the testing, getting up to the testing process, you actually have to judge competitions. Everything was going swell. They gave me a flight of meads, which thankfully that was just one day. The day two, though, I came across this stout that was submitted, and I mean, I have never tasted a stout as good since. So I had my scores just kind of way up there. Not 100% perfect, but really close. And the master judge just scored them down and said, no, that's not how we're judging this beer. And I was like...
He took your scores and scored them down?
He took my scores and scored them down as a master judge. So the final score was lowered because my scores were basically considered irrelevant. And that's where I was like, nope, I'm not going to do this. But I retained all the knowledge and experience of the entire program. So it's not like I was just like, oh, you didn't get certified, so you don't know what you're doing. It's like, no. I mean, I brew my own beer. I taste my own beer. I probably have gone, every liquor store I've gone into, it's very rare that I find a beer in there that I haven't had. So, but with whiskeys, I'm a big whiskey fan. I really wish I would have brought that Auchentoshan, but another time, because those are one of my favorites, just sipping.
Scotch night.
Scotch night, yeah.
Yeah, Scotch night sounds good. So if you're looking for something to try out, definitely check out the Smoke Wagon product line. If you have tried these out, leave us a comment, send us an email, info@savortheburn.com, w2@savortheburn.com, or jonathan@savortheburn.com. And if you know anybody in the beer business, in the car wash business that just lost their car wash and looking for somebody to run it out, maybe send us an email, because we know a guy that might be looking to set up a small brewery, and that sounds like the perfect place to set one up. But whatever, if you know a guy, we know a guy, and we like this guy, so we want to help this guy out. Who knows, maybe there'd be some beer and or whiskey in it for you.
You could be a co-owner of Squirrel Fire Craft Beer.
How cool would that be? Yeah, maybe get a what are those crowdfunded things you can sign up for?
Oh, like a GoFundMe?
Yeah, like a GoFundMe kind of thing.
Problem is the amount of a startup is pretty outrageous. And that's kind of...
They'd have to test the product and see that it's quality.
Sure, I've got 4 taps sticking out of the wall. Come on over. I'll even make it.
If that interests you, fucking hit us up, guys. Whatever. So no matter who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, who you're drinking it with, never forget... Keep on burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little tagline. Keep on burning.
Keep on burning.